Welcome back to Hoopty's Rides and Reviews, and I am sick and tired of replacing batteries in this remote. So check this out. I went ahead and did a little bit of a modification. You can see it right there. This is a Flysky GT3B. I'm going to go ahead and show. I already checked it. I wanted to do this just to make sure it worked. I didn't want to make myself look like a fool. But it works good. This is a 3S battery, which is right around 12 volts, which is what it requires with all the batteries that are in there. I'm going to have to put this tray back in there because it has this little clip thing and that helps the slide tray sit in there a lot better. And I found out that I can't really fit, this battery doesn't fit inside of that handle with this slide tray and everything. So I just drilled a little hole, just enough to get the wire through there. I used a couple of these little bullet splices right here. I had to trim the wire that came off of this thing. This came off, I cut it off of an old junk ESC I had. But I had to trim those wires down. They were a little bit too thick to go into those small connectors because the wires that are inside of this, it's hard to tell, but they are tiny, tiny little wires in there. But I was able to get it connected and in there. I'm going to go ahead and slip this tray back in there, and I'm going to go put it all back together. And I think I'm going to Velcro the battery to the tray right here. Alright, so I got her in there. It barely fit inside of that that housing behind this thing. There's just barely any room, but it fit down in there, and it's flush with the back of the battery tray that was in there. And I'm gonna go ahead and button this thing back up, put the cross member in here. Just because of where I put it, I am gonna have to trim this a little bit just so it has that much gap down here so the tray can slide over top of it. And I have to run the batteries in here just because that cross member doesn't sit in there just right without batteries. A little bit bulky, but she'll work. Well, I'm certainly not the first one to do this. I've seen a couple videos on how to do that modification with putting a 3S battery onto this remote. It really saves you from having to replace all those batteries, constantly replacing AA batteries. And I also did a little bit of adjustment to this truck I want to share. If you're familiar with my channel, you know this truck has had a heck of an issue with torque twist. So I bought these plates in here. These adjuster plates from AliExpress. I got a whole set of them for about 10 bucks. So I inverted the front shocks, and it's got a little bit too much. I said in my previous build videos, it's just a little too much spring for this truck. But it's going to keep it from torque twisting. This truck was just, when it was going down the road, it was just rolling, twisting sideways so hard. It just looked a bit ridiculous. I got a bunch of comments in the videos and stuff about it. And I did realize it at first, and I knew what was going to happen with the suspension setup. But I wanted to go ahead and try it and see what it would do. And it drove really nice. I really liked the way it drove. I wish I could have kept it from torque flexing like that, torque twisting, and it just kept on doing it. It kept sitting really weird. I kept having to pick it up and reset it. And it just wasn't what I was looking for. So she's a little bit stiff in the front end, not quite as much movement as I would like. The rear end has quite a bit of flex, and it kind of gives that front end a little bit of flex as well. It kind of lets it still articulate pretty well, but that front end is very stable and it keeps it from torque twisting. And we're going to go ahead and take a few RCs out, and we're going to go do a little bit of a mud bash. So if you want to stick around for my next video, please subscribe, hit me up, give me a like, give me a thumbs down, I don't care. Just hit me up. Until next time, deuces.